Hello and welcome to the first introduction for the
Yes.
first module of our year-long course, Money and Power.
Yeah.
So just by way of a little bit of an introduction to the introductions, we have videos. We've already seen a video on the introduction to the course. We have individual weekly lessons, and we have little video introductions and textual introductions as well. But we have video introductions to those. We're also giving you video introductions to the modules. So we have 5 modules. Which organize kind of themes and general patterns in the course. And so we'd like in these introductions, these 5 introductions, to offer you a sense of what you're going to be doing in the next 3, 4, 5 weeks, depending on how many lessons there are in that module, to give you a theme, to give you a pattern, to give you a big guiding question, to think about really how we're imagining these as fitting into the rest of the course, and how you can think about it in that kind of fashion. So these module introductions are fairly general, but also provide, I think, pretty useful guidance for your general direction in the next few weeks.
Yeah. So for this week, we're going to be talking about pre-modern Europe, and we have a big question.
We do have a big question.
And that big question is, what were the underlying patterns of European life related to the themes of the course before the rise of democratic Europe,
So
modern democratic representative Europe. We talk about this modern Europe in another way too in our big question for the course, and that is the rise of a liberal capitalistic Europe. To understand change and probably also continuities over the period from 1400 to 1850, we have to have a starting point, some basic understandings about what motivated Europeans, how they saw the world,
how they governed themselves,
how they organized their economic lives, and why maybe in part then they were driven to expand. That's a big question that we will be looking at in future weeks.
So this is foundational stuff. This is
really,
this is a base from which to build to think about the changes that are coming.
Right.
So this course takes us across the Atlantic world, but we're really in Europe this week.
Yeah.
This course takes us into the early modern period, but we're really in the kind of late medieval, very early modern period.
Yeah. So we're going to be looking at the world in this module of subjects and their absolute rulers. That is something that is not lost in our world today, but it's very different than the way that our world is motivated and organized. Our world, rather than being a world of subjects and absolute rulers, at least in the democratic world, is a world of citizens and their representative governments. To understand a world of subjects and absolute rulers, we have to think about a few subjects, and there's a lesson for each of these subjects.
Yes.
One is the assumptions behind kingship. Kings were absolute rulers, so and kings, and queens, although they still exist today, have, at least in democratic societies, very limited powers.
Yes.
They didn't in the world before European revolutions. So what kinds of powers did they have? What motivated or underlay those powers? We're also going to look at patterns of opposition, or at least a few cases of some opposition, so that we understand there's complexities and real tensions underlying European political life.
So one is kind of the theory of how government worked, and another one is kind of a picture of opposition and resistance to that.
That's a good way of thinking about these differences between two of our lessons on rulers and subjects.
Good.
And then we also look at expanding European economies, because that's so important for understanding
Money and power.
Yes, and the expansion not just of European economies, but Europeans of all kinds of descriptions into new markets and new places. So those are our 3 subjects. And we're also in our toolbox going to be practicing the only way that historians have to answer any questions about kingship or opposition or expanding economies, and that is the analysis of evidence.
So where we go.
So we're going to be looking at primary source evidence and secondary source evidence. We'll give you an introduction to the use of these 2 types of sources, and then we'll give you a chance later on after this module to keep on practicing it throughout the course. I think that's a good place to stop.
I agree.
All the rest is details, and the details are in the lessons.
Have fun.
Okay,